I'm Ed Hajim, husband, father, and grandfather. Some people know me as a CEO, a philanthropist, and recently an author. I have worked for some of the biggest names on Wall Street over a 50-year period, and I made the largest gift in the history of my alma mater. I also founded a golf course. And my early life was one of inexpensive hotel rooms, foster homes, and orphanages, and the supposed death of my mother when I was 3 years old. And it could have defined me, but I chose a different path. When I graduated from graduate school at age 28, I had a six-figure negative net worth. From the boardrooms of Wall Street to the boardroom of universities and schools, I have tried to make a meaningful impact by giving back. In my book, On the Road Less Travels, and The Island of the Four Ps, I've tried to distill the lessons that I learned along the way so that I can communicate to young people and anyone looking for direction on how to handle the change that might be required. Some people would say that I've been very successful, but given my background, it wasn't destined to turn out like this. Join me in exploring these life lessons, and we will chart a life that you envision. Finding your passion is basically a job that lasts a lifetime. It starts very early for some people, but usually appears in your teens. In my early teens at high school, my passions were baseball and basketball, math and science, and girls. But when I went to college, those morphed. They changed. And I think that's one of the most important things, to watch how your passions change. Math and science morphed into engineering, and finally chemical engineering. As I used the energy from athletics, morphed into extracurricular activities. And a very special one occurred in my junior year when I became involved in founding a humor magazine, which everybody in the administration was against. And I found a real passion. I didn't know it was my passion then, but it was putting people together to accomplish a task, to create a product, start a program. And inside that passion, I found an even deeper passion, which was to help people do better than they thought they could. And I didn't realize that until almost my mid-career. I wondered why I was so successful in my business career, and I realized my passion of helping people do better than they thought they could basically helped me making companies successful. Principles are the stars that basically navigate us through life's darkest nights. In my book, The Island of the Four Ps, Marcus and Archimedes climbed the mountain. Basically, seeking your principles is like climbing a mountain. Some people feel that principles even come before passions, but principles basically are the rules you learn to follow, the lines that you won't cross. Mine started very early. My father gave me certain simple principles like cleanliness is next to godliness, always dress well. But I got my real principles from the nuns at the Catholic school. They basically gave me the most important principle, which was the golden rule, and they taught it to me with the golden ruler. They also gave me the 10 Commandments and many other do's and don'ts. They made it very clear that if I did things right, I'd end up in the wonderful place. If I did things wrong, I would end up in the other place. My core principles basically evolved like my passions over a lifetime. They started with things like the golden rule, but eventually I developed other rules which I put on my wall in my office. For example, my passion being to help people do better than they thought they could. The principle that I came up with, which really served me very well, was anybody can basically accomplish almost anything if he or she doesn't worry about who gets the credit. And I put that on my wall. And later on in life, I added to that principle the principle of deflecting credit, giving credit to others when you are basically given credit. You'll find out that that's a very unusual experience. When someone says to you, you've done a good job, immediately think of those who have helped you and mention their names. You get a trifecta of goodwill. You feel good, the person that answered the question feels good, and the people who you've mentioned feel good. Now, principles continue through life. My main principle now at my late age is gratitude. I'm grateful for everything that I'm given throughout my life. So principles are something like passions that's to be constantly added to, and in some actually have to be eliminated. In my case, on Wall Street, I had the principle of living happy was to live hidden. And that worked very well for me. I stayed out of the press and I focused on my company And it's one of the reasons I believe I was successful. Today, in trying to sell ideas and help people focus more on their lives and what they want to do and how they want to do it, I've become much more of a public person, and I can no longer live hidden or have that principle: to live happy is to live hidden. In my book, when Marcus goes on a river cruise, each one of the members of the boat had a specific requirement to make that boat navigate a very difficult river. And I think in many respects, this is a true allegory for life. You will basically navigate that river of life much more easily if you have the right kind of partners. In my lifetime, I've been only as good as the people I surround myself with. And I suspect if most of us look at our lives, that same aspect is evident. The most important partner by far is P1, as I call her, is life partner. Someone who you can share your life with. Someone who will support you and you can support. And my wife Barbara is my life partner. And without her, I wouldn't be here today. She's been in on every decision we've ever made. Now, in business, you need partners as well. And I always find you need three kinds of partners. First, you need partners who can do things you can't do. You need partners who can do things better than you can do them. Then finally, and people don't really realize this, you need partners that can do things that you do really well, but you don't want to do. If you can find those three kinds of partners, basically, you're in nirvana because you are doing things that you do well, that you like to do. In shifting from the business world to the nonprofit world, you need partners there. The difference is they have different characteristics. In the business world, your partners and you can make decisions relatively rapidly without too much conversation. But in the nonprofit world, consensus is the word. It requires much more attention, much more patience. And there are different kinds of partners. For example, many people feel if you have a good salesman in business life, you can put them into development, raise funds for EDMOS and their institutions. It doesn't work. Finally, I think the most important partner is a friend. And you, especially young people, on the way to college, find someone who over a lifetime could be a friend. In my lifetime, I had a partner named Steve in business, a partner named Joel in the monastery institution, a partner named Richard as a friend, and of course Barbara. I wish you Steve, Joel, Barbara, and friends like that over your lifetime. Everyone, I believe, should have a plan because it forces you to think about where you want to go and how you expect to get there. It allows you to sort of list the things you have to test to see whether you're going in the right direction. It also gives you a real opportunity to look ahead and see what parts of society that you want to really be involved with and what might happen to those parts. I believe in plans, you should really focus on trying to catch a wave or cycle or theme that will occur in your lifetime. Trying to get the wind at your back. That really is a successful plan. Makes the journey a lot easier. Let's embark on this journey together. Let's make a plan together. Let's see how we can navigate the waves of change. See how we can basically prioritize where we want to go and how we expect to get there. I think making a plan together will be very important for anything you're going to do in your lifetime. Let's explore this journey together.